All right, we are live. Welcome, everybody. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Let me make sure my settings are good. Let's see. Mic check. Uh-oh, looks like I got two mics. Okay, let me know how that sounds. It'll take a second. There was probably an echo. I don't know why I turned that on. That's weird. All right, just give it a second, guys. Let me know in chat. It probably sounded like I had an echo at first, and then hopefully that fixed it. So weird. Anyway, settings are good. Thank you, D. Awesome. Thank you to all the wonderful mothers out there. I'm sorry I didn't go live yesterday, but I hope you guys had a wonderful Mother's Day. And thank you for the belated happy birthday wishes. Of course, we're going to be covering Jack and Lily Sullivan. My last live video nearly did 80,000, which is pretty wild. I don't think I've ever had a live show go that big. Just kind of shows the interest in that case. So we'll definitely be covering that. And, of course, we'll still keep an eye on Sebastian Rogers. But, yeah, that was pretty wild. I do want to just thank everybody for taking their time out of the day to watch the show. It means the world to me. Real quick, before we get started with Jack and Lily, I just want to show this. This is Aiden Clune. On this channel, we always like to try to give back by featuring other missing person cases attached to these other cases that are, being covered on a wide mass. This is Aiden Clune. He went missing 3 years ago. We've been involved in his search ever since it started. And just kind of a quick summary. He went missing April 27, 2022. They are having a search at the end of this month on May 31st and June 1st. If anybody's out near Nevada, it's actually going to be in Wells, Nevada. Here's all the information. If you want to be involved or would like to help from afar, there is also a Facebook group and a TikTok. And if you would like to support the search, there's a GoFundMe. I usually don't show GoFundMes, but this is the one that I would show because I do know the family. I've been involved in the searches, and I'd rather, if you were going to donate Venmo, PayPal to me, I'd rather have it go to them because they can need it a lot more than I do. So there's the codes right there. Hopefully they're big enough. I'm always trying to zoom in. But anyway, just an update on that case. Last year when we went out, I'm a drone operator, but we were searching on foot and in the sky. But we ended up finding his shoes, which was the first thing as far as like physical evidence found in his case, which was huge. But unfortunately, after finding the shoes, we still haven't found him. But it was a big find, and it was kind of towards the end of summer, and the family couldn't really get out by the time because it is in a higher elevation. And so when you start getting into the fall out in that area in Wells, Nevada, and here in Utah, temperatures start to drop, and you start getting, rain and stuff like that, which can hinder certain resources. So anyway, I think they were trying to get some cadaver dogs out there to search around where we found the shoes and everything. So anyway, if you'd like to know more, there's the Facebook group link, the TikTok page, and the GoFundMe. So there is that. And with that, we'll get going. And again, thank you to all my wonderful mods in the chat. If you have any questions, just feel free to ask. And let me get this pulled up. I'll do, for anybody that's not familiar with this case, I have a 3-minute recap video I'll play first, and then and we'll go from there. So that way I can get caught up with chat. All right, let me put this full screen.
140 searchers are combing the woods of Pictou County on the ground with drones and helicopters in the air. Still, after 5 days, there is no sign of Lily and Jack Sullivan. The search area for the siblings has been expanded. CTV's Hafsa Arif is there again tonight.
As RCMP combed through woods and fields searching for 6-year-old Lily and 4-year-old Jack Sullivan, their stepfather Daniel Martel spends every evening conducting his own search.
As soon as I seen they were missing, I jumped right in the vehicle and I did every dirt road and searched every culvert.
The children are thought to have wandered away from their home in Lansdowne Station on Friday morning. Martel believes they were only gone for about 20 minutes before he and their mother noticed they were missing.
The very first day I wasn't around very much because I was just searching. I was running through the woods, screaming their name till my throat hurt.
Martel says the only concrete clue so far is a boot print found near the backyard of the property. RCMP haven't shared any additional evidence.
The officers and searchers on site are following up on anything that comes up that provides.
I'm just staying as hopeful as possible. I want them home. I want to hold them. And I want them home. What happened was we woke up, I heard them playing in the next room beside us, and I was drifting in and out of sleep, and they're not the type of kids that we tell them not to go outside on their own. We always make sure that we're out there with them, watching them, and they happen to just get out that sliding door, and we can't hear it when it opens, and they were outside playing, but we weren't aware of it at the time, and the next thing we knew, it was quiet. And we get up and I tell him, my partner, Daniel, I tell him, do you hear the kids? And he says, no. And we get up instantly. We're looking outside. We're looking everywhere, yelling for them. And I instantly just call 911. I just had the instinct I needed to call. They're both really go-lucky children. They're so sweet. They talk to anyone. They'll talk your ear off. They will speak to anyone in a store, everyone. They're just extremely sweet kids. I appreciate
Outside this Nova Scotia home, a reminder of the heartbreaking absence. 6-year-old Lily and 4-year-old Jack Sullivan missing 6 days now. Their stepfather getting an update from RCMP officers. It's news he says he knew was coming, but didn't want to hear. Police are scaling back the search and rescue of the siblings, with hope dwindling.
Based on the experts and the review of the facts, the inclement weather, the time frames, and their age, the likelihood that they're alive right now is very low.
Breaks my heart.
Yeah, I kind of agree, and that is one of my leading theories right now. I mean, I go back and forth. Could there be foul play? But I could definitely see that being a possibility. That, there's rumors that there was drug use. To what extent, can only be rumored until we know more. But, all right, let me just get this situated. But, yeah, I could kind of see that. Where they were kind of blaming each other. They were maybe doing substances, and one was claiming to watch them while the other one, and vice versa. And yeah, now everybody's pointing the finger at each other. And could it just be that they did wander off, but they were right at the time they were using, or could it even be the alleged party that they had? Again, alleged. We don't know if they had a party, but there's also the rumor. There's a lot of cars there, supposedly on the Thursday night. If that is true, was one of the people that showed up, did they see the kids and then take them overnight? So many questions. Still many unanswered, unfortunately. I'm just trying to get caught up in chat. Today is not my birthday. My birthday was the other day. I just haven't gone live since. So, but I do appreciate the belated wishes. Means the world. Thank you, Michelle, for becoming a member. Pandas Bear, good to see you. No updates on Devlin Tate. No sightings of Devlin in Michigan. We're getting worried sick. I know I featured Devlin. I'm going to write that name down, Panda. And I will try to keep an eye on that case if I can. If there's any updates, or at the very least I can feature them. All right. So I'm going to skip forward here. So Friday we covered the case. It was the first time covering this case on this channel. A lot of people are clearly invested in this case. Like I said, I had 80K watch my live show, which, it's one thing to put out a 8-minute video or something like that and get 80Ks, but to have a 2-hour live, not too shabby. Now, of course, we're, day 2? So we're day 11. That'd be day 11. 10 days missing now, more or less. Sorry, I'm just trying to get to my video. Here it is. Okay. So there is the Globe that did a timeline on their website, which is pretty interesting because it had details of each day of what was kind of going on and little snippets of interview. And I think it kind of paints a picture of where law enforcement was kind of going, and where I think there was at least some possible red flags that they may have found that may have suspended the search. So we'll look into that. So that's what we're going to dive into. But it was very fascinating. So, and it's one of those where you have to either you have to log into the site or be registered. So I did register into that so we could get it. But it does give a lot of interesting insight of, what was going on each day. So I wanted to do that. We'll just kind of go through, and it's very interesting. And also I've got the map of where they searched, and it was kind of interesting. I was a little shocked, in some ways shocked, and in other ways not. But, of where they searched, they kind of started going one direction. But I think I have a theory on that as to why they were going that direction. But, they still covered a lot of ground. But yeah, so we'll get into it. Just making sure.
Many of the roughly 100 people who...
Okay. So this is kind of reading from that Globe interview, or I should say... let me move this real quick. Timeline that they put out, and this is kind of going through it all the way back to when they were last seen. So I think that's obviously very important to know, because it's, even though they said they went missing that morning, of course, what does an outsider, a third party, say when they were last seen? And it is, definitely a huge red flag when we find out that they haven't been to school for 3 days.
Live in Lansdowne are related and have been there for generations. Lily and Jack, along with their mother Malihia Brooks Murray and baby sister Meadow, moved to the community 2 years ago into the childhood home of Daniel Martel, who describes himself as the missing children's stepfather. The children's biological father has no contact with them.
Okay, let me pause that. Is it Sergio? It says, I'm a Canadian former trucker, and my last co-driver is from Nova Scotia. She is still trucking, and I'm retired. That's awesome. I actually, on my mom's side and on my dad's side, had, a lot to do with trucking.
According to their family, Mr. Martel's mother also lives on the property in a dilapidated camper with multiple cats and a dog. It overlooks the fenced-in backyard where Ms. Brooks Murray and Mr. Martel reported they must have escaped from and wandered off.
So here we start at the beginning of when they were last seen besides the immediate family. Yeah, trafficking. Yeah, I heard, so I was kind of looking into that. Some say that that's kind of big out there, but again, I couldn't find anything like major to support that, but they do say that there is concerns with human trafficking out that way.
April 29th, 2025. The last day Lily and Jack Sullivan attend Salt Springs Elementary, a small rural school about an 18-kilometer bus ride from their home. There was no school the next day, and the children were kept at home May 1st and 2 owing to illness, according to Mr. Martel.
So their last scene, just kind of recapping, just going through each day. Last scene on April 29th, at least by an outsider, and that would be the bus driver. He dropped them off on April 29th. So they went to school Monday, Tuesday. Now Wednesday they didn't have school. And then according to the father, there's a couple of reports, but one of them says where Lily had a cough So it's kind of interesting. Why didn't Jack go if it was just Lily? But again, maybe they just, thought they might spread it. But so that's the reason why they didn't show up the next Thursday and Friday, according to the parents. But then, of course, Friday is when they went missing, allegedly.
May 2nd, 2025. At approximately 10 a.m., Ms. Brooks Murray calls 911 to report Lily and Jack missing.
Oh my gosh, these pictures came out recently since the last time I covered this, sometime over the weekend. It's pictures from them I'm assuming earlier this year from Easter, and oh my god, they're so cute. I do have I do blow them up at some point in this live, but oh, my heart just aches seeing those pictures.
CMP issue a vulnerable missing persons alert in Pictou County and ask for the public's help in locating the children who they say are believed to have wandered off from the home. Police do not issue an Amber Alert, saying an abduction appears unlikely and the case does not meet the necessary criteria.
Yeah, so there's the pictures, a little bit blown up. So then we move to May 2nd. And, we've already started on May 2nd. I apologize. And so they call in 911. This is part of, now people have been releasing like some of the dispatch audio. There's quite a bit. And here's just a little highlight from the beginning.
6-year-old is the girl, I believe, and she's wearing pink. The 4-year-old is wearing some blue dinosaur boots. So, yeah, I think that's all we kind of have right now. Ask the risk manager if he wants Constable Mason to depart there to go get some phone service to send those images or not.
Go somewhere and get service and get those photos sent off.
So one thing that clearly, and also in reports, is that the coverage out there is not the best. So I think that can kind of be a double-edged sword, and we'll get to that a little bit later. But, if it was foul play, obviously, they look at people's phone records, because obviously that's kind of, they can backtrack where they've been, and also look at, what they have told law enforcement, and if their alibis or whatever checks out their story. But it does seem like these, when you listen to it, it does seem like some of these searchers have issues with service. So that does kind of worry me a little bit.
Just make sure Mom stays close to the house there in case they happen to sneak out and get back in the house. Copy, and just for everyone's awareness, based on the profile, children could have traveled at least 6 kilometers. So keep that in mind.
Sergeant Young, for your awareness, their media release has been put out in a non-intrusive alert to send out to Pictou County.
Perfect, thank you.
And they happen to just get out that sliding door, and we can't hear it when it opens. And they were outside playing, but we weren't aware of it at the time, and the next thing we knew...
So this is the mother, for everybody that's new to the case. This was her account. She only did really one interview, and then we're going to learn what happened to her. There's new details in this timeline that they put out on their website. I think it came out maybe Friday or Saturday. Or actually, I don't think it was out when I did my live, so it must have came out either Friday night or Saturday, sometime over the weekend. But it gives just more inside info between each day, which is really interesting.
It was quiet, and we get up, and I tell him, my partner, Daniel, I tell him, do you hear the kids? And he says, no. And we get up instantly. We're looking outside. We're looking everywhere, yelling for them. And I instantly just call 911. It's just...
4-year-old Jack Sullivan, their stepfather, Daniel Martel, spends every evening conducting his own search.
As soon as I seen they were missing, I jumped right in the vehicle, and I did every dirt road and searched every culvert.
The children are thought to have wandered away from their home in Lansdowne Station on...
The first day I wasn't around very much because I was just searching. I was running through the woods, screaming their name to my throat.
So this is one thing I didn't mention in my last live. Usually here, and it doesn't matter, with most cases I've seen, is usually once they do a search, even if there is no foul play suspected, they usually don't have the parents search, at least most of the time, just in case, because they don't want them wandering off and getting lost, and then now they have to change in resources, and there's just so many things that could go wrong, and then of course if there's foul play suspected, what could they be doing? So usually they tell the parents, to stay near the home, especially if the children happen to be wandering back. They want, the parents there. So I do find it interesting. Again, obviously we're in the U.S. We usually cover cases here. Maybe it's different, obviously, in Canada.
Martel says the only concrete clue so far is a boot print found near the backyard of the property.
I know they took their boots. That's pink boots for
thanks,
Lily,
Sergio.
blue boots for Jack with dinosaurs on them. Lily had her backpack with white, and it was white with strawberries on it. I imagine now if they're in the woods that it'd be probably brown, but I don't see them carrying their backpack. I don't see them keeping a pull-up one for that long after it got soaked from the very first day.
And the way he says that, I know we mentioned it last live, and I know so many people, that's definitely a huge red flag. The way he's talking like it had already happened, that her backpack got covered in mud, his pull-up is wet, speaking in past tense, like this already happened, is definitely very suspicious.
We only found the 2 boot tracks outside of the house.
Whereabouts?
Right beside the house, probably about 10 feet away from the backyard.
In the backyard, okay.
No.
I know, and seeing these children with those pictures, from Easter, oh my gosh, little angels. All right, so we covered the first day. Then we move into day 3, and this is where things really start to get kind of interesting as far as little tidbits that this Globe released on each day that things were going on. Because we know that there was the mother ended up leaving, and, what was the details? And so they did release a few details more about that. And so anyway, this is the area for anyone that's, again, new to the case. But the boots that he's talking about, according to his own words, were somewhere right here, the only boot prints that they had, which, again, in my opinion, I think it is definitely suspicious, especially after not really finding anything else in the search. It's one thing when you have one child missing, but 2, you would think that, especially if they had a backpack, that they would leave some kind of trace, as they're lost in the woods, that, one of these volunteers would come across. But according to the stepfather, excuse me, I always do that. The stepfather, the only boot print, he says, 10 feet from outside the house, and he says it's facing the road, which I find super sus. And then according to what little we know about the dog searches, is that the only scent that they got, allegedly, was just to the road, which, again, if that is true, that is another huge red flag.
House.
Whereabouts?
Right beside the house, probably about 10 feet away from the backyard.
In the backyard, okay.
The only 2 prints are right beside the house facing the road, and then that's it.
We just started.
I'm looking to speak to somebody.
Can I get an idea of what we're looking at, where we're looking?
So the family is convinced that these children didn't cross the road from their residence. Of course, we're skeptical that we know how these searches go.
And that was another thing, how could they be convinced that they didn't cross the road? They could have went on the street, went up a bit, and then went down, So I do find that very interesting, almost like they want them looking in a different direction, or just maybe they were trying to, and looking at it from the other side, maybe they're just, trying to give the best information that they can, saying, before they got there, they were looking around and Maybe they had a better feeling that they didn't cross the street, so maybe they told them, we don't have it, we believe it's possible they didn't cross the road, just to kind of give them some, an area, a direction to go in. But again, you could look at it both ways. Oh, I think I saw what you're talking about. Chris, what is the rectangular hole I keep seeing on the side of the yard? There's a little pine tree. It looks like there's a hole. Yeah, I will, I'll keep playing. I will write it down. I've got the photo. I know what you're talking about. I don't know if it's like dug in, but I'll look at it. We'll look at it together. Give me just a second. I'll multitask here. Okay, so now we go into day 2, Saturday the 3rd. This is where we start to get some, at least since I covered this last, some more inside information about when the mother left and under what circumstances. And I find this very
May 3, 2025, RCMP issue a broadcast intrusive alert, a public cell phone notice that the children are missing, to people in Antigonish, Colchester, and Pictou counties. The Mounties Major Crimes Unit becomes involved in the investigation. Ms. Brooks-Murray and Mr. Martell attend a briefing at the search and rescue headquarters on nearby Lansdowne Station Road. Mr. Martell said Ms. Brooks-Murray leaves midway through the update to sit in the back of an ambulance. She departs with her mother, and Mr. Martell said he hasn't seen her since.
Yeah, so there's that. I'll find it. We'll look at the homes. We'll look at close-up pictures towards the end. But that's a good question, Harley. And thank you so much for the $5. Yeah, when I find a spot, we'll look at it. But yeah, so that's kind of new, at least since I last covered it, is learning, because we heard that there was a fight, and I do post that as well. But according to this, so each day, when they're searching, they'll have, and they'll do this maybe sometimes multiple times a day, have everybody come back to command and then give them, areas, to search and check, everybody kind of checks in. And anyway, it says at the headquarters, now I'm assuming this is the command post, but midway through a briefing, she went and sat in the ambulance, which is interesting. I wonder, was she like having a panic attack? Is there something she knew? Or is it just kind of, the shock of everything kind of just now hitting her? It could be anything, but I do find that kind of interesting. And then she just leaves. And that's the one thing where I'd lead it a little bit more towards a red flag, because she just up and leaves. And according to him, Mr. Martell, Daniel, they're gone, And usually when in these instances, you would think family would kind of come together, because this is, could be a life and death situation. And it's your kids, but she just dips off. That is kind of odd.
At the search,
as if she, knows something that we don't.
Rescue headquarters on nearby Lansdowne Station Road. Mr. Martell said Ms. Brooks-Murray leaves midway through the update to sit in the back of an ambulance.
I do.
She
I definitely
departs with
do.
her mother, and Mr. Martell said he hasn't seen her since. She cuts off contact with him after this. Rain complicates the search efforts, as search and rescue teams work through dense forest and boggy conditions. Drones, equipped with infrared technology, are used at night to look for any traces of the children.
So here's just the other report. This is kind of what we heard, but that stuff that we just covered there about her getting in the ambulance, that was kind of something newer since I last covered it. But the other thing is this is what he reported before was, let me see. So Martell also addresses, that's Daniel, the stepfather, her departure, stating that she did not leave voluntarily but was forced off the property by the mother. So here we kind of got a conflicting story here. unless there's some kind of middle ground. He said that following the children's disappearance, she relocated to stay with family in another part of the province, and then she blocked him on social media, which again, that is also weird because, like, you know, in an instant where if the kids are just out there missing, no foul play, you would think you never know who's going to get the first update, you know, and especially if she left and he's there, all right, and say the kids come wandering back, you know, he could be one of the first to know. And well, if she's blocked him on social media, I mean, I don't know, maybe they're still talking. I mean, there is one statement where he says they still talk sporadically, but I don't know, I just find that kind of interesting. Just weird timing, you know, when your kids are missing, that you're going to block the one person that is there at the home where the kids could end up back. So really, really weird. But it goes on to say, according to Martel, tensions flared between the families on the day of the disappearance, leading to a confrontation in the yard. And my mother had to ask some people to leave the property because they were accusing me. So they're sounds like the mother and possibly people associated with the mother, or maybe her family, was pointing the fingers at Daniel, which again, just on day one, is scary. And then he goes on to say it's sad because I'm the only one here still fighting for them. So I don't know. That's definitely weird. He has agreed to take a polygraph, which he talks about later on as the days go by. But I don't know. Yeah, I know. I go back and forth with Daniel because is he just there because, you know, it is like, you know, his mom allegedly and brother live in the trailer next to him. So is it just because it's more their property or whatever? And that's why the mother's forced to leave out. Also, there's the rumor about CPS and telling the mother that she has to leave. Now there is rumors floating that the CPS has taken the newborn, or not newborn. It's the child's. They have a daughter, Daniel and Malaya, and it's Meadow, and she was born in December of 2023, so she's basically a year and a half. But I've seen reports saying that like CPS took the child, but I think it's getting confused with CPS advised the mother and Meadow to leave. So there's multiple different stories of her departure.
Your command, members of the family.
That's true, Harley. So true.
Shortly.
Halifax base, GSA Parsons, over.
Go ahead, Lee.
Okay, so now here's something I wanted to show with the search, and oh my gosh, go figure. I've been trying to find a good high resolution photo of the search grid that they posted for the press conference. Couldn't find one. I know they're out there somewhere. And then, of course, just before I went live, I found one. But yeah, that frustrated me. But anyway, I'll show you why I wanted to show this.
Yeah, we completed a sweep of the property. Nothing.
So this is dispatch audio again. I'm just playing a clip, a highlight. Now I'm pretty sure this is day 3 to go along with our timeline that we're going on here. And this regards the boot prints.
Nothing seen. There are some kids' bikes here, but members are still interviewing the person, so not sure if you've got any other direction for us at this point. Over.
Oh, negative. They can return.
Copy that. Returning to base. Halifax Command, Rescue 2, over.
Lee?
We'd walk up the gas pipeline trail there, and there's definitely some child-sized footprints in the mud here that are...
So, I'll kind of repeat what he's saying, because I know it's kind of hard to hear. There are kind of subtitles up there, but... So, he's saying that he found child-sized boot prints, a pair of them, he'll go on to say. And he found it near the pipeline. I'm assuming this pipeline, if you know in chat, please correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm assuming it's to the west.
Visible.
And if I'm wrong, please let me know again in chat. But because I found this very interesting, and also the way that they started moving the search as well.
They're a bit eroded from the heavy rain, but they're still visible. So, not sure if you'd like us to continue on up the trail or what you'd like to do. Over.
Hang on, I'll let you talk. Let Greg tell you what he wants.
So what you're seeing on screen, and I apologize, because I could not find, for the life of me, a good high-resolution photo of the search grid. And these are really important, because they give you an idea of where, they're focused on, and especially if there's any clues, they may start to kind of move towards that direction. And as you can see, and I do apologize, again, of course, I found one, and I'll pull it up here in just a second, but just watch as I kind of, so right in the middle, you'll see CP right here. That's, I'm assuming, stands for command post, and then PPs. So and that is where the home is at. So I'm not sure if anybody knows what that stands for. Something post, I don't know, parents post, I don't know, or primary post. I don't know, but I do know that's where the home is, and I know the command post was just south of that, so that all lines up. But as you can see, they really started focusing on one direction, which was west.
Yeah, Lee, the gentleman that was here said that he broke some branches that he left out over the trail. So if you see those, that'd be great. But if you can send us coordinates or record coordinates of the footprints, if you're feeling up to it, I definitely recommend seeing if you can find anywhere track tracks where it goes off, and you guys want to keep walking it until you don't find tracks anymore. That's good, but just log them. Over.
Yeah, I've marked one set up on top of the hill with a stick and just a green nitrile glove, but I can go back and get some flagging tape out of my bag or just keep walking it. But they're definitely child size, and it's hard to tell how fresh they are with the rain from last night.
And you can tell that this is clearly later on day 3, or excuse me, the 3rd, which is day 2. I'm sorry, May 3rd, and because it sounds like they're kind of towards the end of whatever they're doing, and they even I think I cut it off, but he even goes on to mention, hey, we're about gonna finish up here for the night. But so clearly on that Saturday night, they'd found those boot prints, and then it seems like they started picking it up. So I'm assuming, and I could be wrong, but with the way the search started going, where is that one that I found? It's a screenshot. Oh, here it is. Yeah, of course I found a good one just before the show started, because I wanted to overlay it on the map just to show you guys. But as you can see here, they really started going west, which is interesting. And you can see the circles. These are, I think there's an inner circle, which is 2 kilometers. This is 4 kilometers, 6 kilometers. The outer ring, 6 kilometers is approximately 3.5 miles. So I'm going to guess that the boot prints were found more west. I could be wrong. And usually if they find something, because so far as what we know is they didn't find anything other than, the boot print at the home next to the trailer. And then the only next thing that we know, at least that they've released, was this child size set of boot prints in the search. And so I would assume that would have probably been the case. It would have probably been about that far out. And then obviously going into the next day, which would be day 3, and may the force be with you. that on day 4, now they've got a new, basically, they kind of make that like their now circle where they're going to start searching their main focus to, especially with, something like that where you got boot prints in their child size, and the kids were last seen with boot prints. So that would be a huge find if that was, their boot prints. So I'm assuming that's what then took them more further west. I could be wrong, but that sounds like that could be what led them that direction. And if anybody's wondering, just kind of if you're wondering about all the colors, if you guys remember, I told you guys about the app, and then we'll get back to it. But the nice thing about technology now, especially with searches, is they have an app. One of them's called Catalpo. And anyway, the searchers will usually, hopefully they did this, I'm sure they did it in this one, but they download the app, and then each color usually represents a person. And what's nice is then they can be tracked. They kick on their app, even if they're out of service, as long as they got the app downloaded and the map preloaded. You basically have a start and stop, and it just tracks you everywhere you move. And this is a huge advancement in the missing because, before you're just roping things off, you're taping, and you still do that anyway. But before that, that's all they really had was tying things off to trees or whatever, a rope. But there's always things that you could miss. But now you have a virtual map that you can go back and look at, and they can kind of reassess after each day. Okay, this is where we've been searching. These are kind of some of the holes we had, and we can adjust for that if we have resources to miss those pockets. So huge advancements, and it's only going to get better.
When you take photos of them, do you have anything to do, anything of reference for a scale, a ruler, your hand or something, an iPhone, etc.? Over.
Yeah, I've got my notebook, which is 6 inches, so it'll give you good reference.
Yeah.
And copy, let us know if you find any more clues. Over.
And rescue 2, over. Yeah, I think we'll return to base. I think we're probably talking kilometers to get to that trail intersection that Buddy had referenced. So I don't think it's something Don and I are outfitted to do tonight. Over.
Oh, so I did leave that in. So you could tell this was clearly at the end of day 2.
So you heard what you said.
All right, we'll return to base. Over.
I made my way back to your truck through the back trails and stuff there. Did you keep heading south on...
Mr. Martell speaks to the Globe and Mail about what happened on the morning the children went missing. Lily came into the room multiple times. I seen her that morning, and Jack was out playing in the kitchen, I'm guessing, and they slid open the back sliding door. It's almost like silent to hear it sliding. They slid it open and the boots were right beside the door, and they proceeded to, I'm guessing, playing outside. They must have got out through the back fence and then they were gone. As soon as I seen they were gone, immediately jumped in the car and did all the dirt roads, all the culverts, checked over the rivers and streams. As soon as I got home 10 minutes later, I headed out on foot.
So 2 red flags in this statement. So again, this is why I like this article they put out, because it just adds more into what... clearly I didn't see on Friday. But one, he's quoted saying Lily came into the room multiple times, because in the interviews, at least the ones that I had seen, he never explained like how he knew she had a backpack and what she was wearing and why he didn't know what Jack was wearing. It was kind of weird. So here it seems the Globe or someone associated with them interviewed him. I don't know if it was on the 4th or this is when they're putting it in, but they do have quotes from each day, so I'm assuming maybe they were out there and they, asked him, can you recap how they went missing? So yeah, that gives a little bit more insight, at least to his story about, his view of events. But the other thing is weird is how he says this. I seen her that morning, and Jack was out playing in the kitchen, I'm guessing. So they're both guessing as to the kids playing. And then it goes on quoted as saying, and then slid open the back sliding door It's almost like silent to hear it sliding. They slid it open. The boots were right beside the door, and they proceeded to, I'm guessing, he almost catches himself, playing outside. They must have gotten out through the back fence, and then they were gone. The other thing that's a little bit of a red flag is he said he jumped in the car and was driving around, and then he came back after 10 minutes and then headed on foot. But I would think you would do the opposite, right? You would kind of survey the perimeter, screaming their name, and then get on in your car, and not the other way around, because if they were just, just beyond, visibility, but they were still nearby, that, shouting for them, they would, come running back. But I don't know. Let me know what you guys think in chat, but that is a little interesting the way he words that.
The RCMP requests the help of the Nova Scotia Guard, a provincially organized volunteer group.
Oh yeah, that girl, yeah. She's got
160 people.
I was gonna download that video from, because I couldn't find it, just the original video anymore, because I think it came from maybe the mother or something. Of course, her Facebook's now private. Yeah, I'll have to get that video. But yeah, there's a birthday video with the two children. I think it's Jack's birthday. Maybe it's his third or fourth. Oh no, it's his second birthday, right? Because there's a 2 on it. But Lily, I think she's either just super excited or maybe nervous, maybe a little bit of both, maybe even some jealousy. I don't know, but yeah, she's kind of screaming in the video. I mean, she does pipe down, but yeah,
by helicopter,
she does have a set of lungs.
Tracking dogs eventually take part in the effort to find the children in a heavily wooded area around the family's home.
And they happen to just get out that sliding door, and we can't hear it when it opens. And they were outside playing.
Oh yeah, I will, Michelle.
We weren't aware of it at the time, and the next thing we knew, it was quiet. And we get up, and I tell him, my partner, Daniel, I tell him, "Do you hear the kids?" And he says, "No." And we get up instantly. We're looking outside. We're looking everywhere, yelling.
Yeah, that's a great point, Daphne. Yeah, right. They have a 1.5 year daughter, Meadow. Beautiful name. But yeah, not childproof. I'm sure the law enforcement has checked to see if this sliding glass door is actually silent when opening and closing.
For them, and I instantly just call 911.
So now we move on to oops. Yeah, so we did May 4th, and now moving on to May 5th.
May 5, 2025. Searchers find no sign of the children, despite heavily scanning a 4 square kilometer area around their mobile home. A report that a child's boot print is found nearby sparks some focused searching in that area.
So remember, the boot print was allegedly found late Saturday night. Now there is another mention of a print, but they don't say boot print. They just say, I think it's either footprint or print. But that's the only other thing they mentioned. Of course, then they found, some trash. So now, May 5th, search continues. Nothing major. I think they're following up with that boot print, I'm assuming. Then May 6th comes along, and this one's interesting. Yeah, I think Meadow's a beautiful name.
May 6th, 2025.
Oh, wait, let me skip that. I'm sorry, or not skip that. Let me back that up real quick. Let's see. I just opened. Okay, so this article comes out on the 6th. This is from the maternal grandmother, so this is obviously Let's see. Yeah, Cindy Murray. So we're hoping and praying the best. That's it for our babies come home. Cindy Murray says in a brief phone interview. So obviously, this is the mother, Lily's grandmother on the mom's side. She did a brief phone interview, just praying that they came home. Let's see, was there anything? Oh, she also goes on to... Well, actually, no, she is not quoted. Just says here, everyone on her side of the family has clammed up on Saturday, Sunday, when the mother left, and allegedly, as Daniel said, there was a fight between the families. Okay, I think... Daniel has also said in another interview that him and the mother of the children have spoken sporadically since. So I'd be curious to see. I mean, obviously, law enforcement would be able to figure...
May 6th, 2025. Police take Mr. Martell to the Pictou County District RCMP detachment in the town of Stellarton, where he is questioned for 4 hours. He said he was asked to go over details and timelines to the minute and draw on maps where he thinks the children could be. They're easy on me because they know I'm telling the truth about everything. The chief of Sipeknekatik First Nation, Michelle Glasgow, addresses speculation around the case and asks people to refrain from jumping to conclusions or sharing unverified information, as this can complicate the efforts of the multiple agencies involved in the ongoing investigation. She says the children's maternal grandfather is a member of the Mi'kmaq community. Amy Hansen of Colchester County Ground Search and Rescue says the search has been exhausting and thorough despite the difficult terrain, and that volunteers are not giving up hope of finding the children.
So May 6th is when they brought him in for questioning, and the timing of this is very interesting because what happens the next day on May 7th? So he was brought in for a 4-hour interview on May 6th. Then that next
May 7th,
day,
2025. In the morning, RCMP arrive at the home and ask Mr. Martell to hand over his phone, which he said he did. When asked about how police are investigating the children's disappearance, maternal grandmother Cindy Murray tells the Globe, "We're not discussing anything right now. The police told us not to."
Wait, did someone say it spells with 2 L's? I thought it was just 1 L. I'll have to look into that. Yeah, most reports that I've seen are just, Lily, Lily.
EMP scale back the search for Lily and Jack, acknowledging it's unlikely the children are still alive. "We're not packing up and we're not giving up," says Staff Sergeant Curtis McKinnon, District Commander for Pictou County District RCMP. Mr. Martell said he handed over some of the children's stuffed animals to RCMP at the request of Ms. Brooks Murray, Lily's white unicorn, and Jack's blue dinosaur.
So, May 7th, again, right after the day after they did this 4-hour interview with the father, and then obviously... now that's of course with Daniel telling the reporters that. So who knows when they? I'm sure obviously they would have interviewed all parents, grandparents, anybody that was nearby. Clearly, oh, it is spelled with 2 L's in here. I stand corrected. Interesting. Anyway, now that you guys pointed that out, I'm going to keep looking for that. So then it also mentions that the mother requested that some of the children's stuffed animals be brought to her. So Lily's white unicorn, Jack's blue dinosaur, and then I'm assuming for Meadow, the baby's white giraffe, and the mom's pink bear. So that's kind of interesting. I mean, what do you guys think of that in the chat? But so the mom's requesting stuffed animals. I don't know, kind of weird.
He said he also gave police the baby's white giraffe and the mom's pink bear. Mr. Martell told the Globe that police advised him they were bringing in cadaver dogs and RCMP divers to search nearby Lansdowne Lake.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree, Daphne. Yeah, where do they come up with that the children were playing? Other than they could claim that they heard them. Commotion that sounded like they were playing, but other than that, yeah, like what's the proof that they were actually playing? And why does Lily have her backpack? Again, someone mentioned that maybe she was expecting to go to school that day. Then again, that would be like, well, didn't she have a cough or was sick in some way? I don't know. There's just a lot of stuff that doesn't add up. So yeah, we get the press conference on May 7th. Then they also, which is interesting, that they also on May 7th, again, 24 hours after they interviewed the stepfather, they started bringing out cadaver dogs. At least that's what Daniel told the Globe. And that divers were going to search a nearby lake. So that's not a good sign.
EMP searched the dense forest behind the home.
So now we move to May 8th. So now we're almost a week missing.
In a helicopter. Plainclothes investigators arrive again to speak with Mr. Martel. Basically, at this point, they just want to look at any tech that could help match up any phones that came into the yard, he said. That afternoon, a friend drives him to the Children's Protective Services office in Stellarton, where he requests to see his 16-month-old daughter, but is denied. As of now, I can't be around Meadow, he said during an interview the following day. With the kids going missing, Children's Protective Services wants to keep a tight leash on everything.
So yeah, apparently he went to go see Meadow, but CPS would not allow it. See. Oh, here's the other big thing is that they wanted to take a look at any tech, which is very interesting because this will also go into something we're going to cover here in a minute. But they were obviously, so they're going to look at obviously cellular phones, any other kind of GPS devices, maybe vehicles if they have any kind of GPS in them. So that kind of gives you an idea that the way the investigation is swinging.
May 9th, 2025. Lily and Jack have been missing for more than a week. Mr. Martel says he's been exceedingly cooperative with investigators. I gave them everything from my phone. I asked for a lie detector test and drug tests. I'm the one trying to move this forward and give any information that I have. He adds that police are looking at the wireless router in the home to see who connected to the internet at what times.
This will be huge, and we'll go into it more here in just a minute, but I think this will be very big as to where people were. Because, again, it sounds like there's areas around this place that don't have the best service. Going off the dispatch radio, it sounds like some of them, they couldn't send pictures because I'm assuming they're in an area where there was no service. So they had to kind of tell the dispatcher that they'd have to wait till they were in the service or till they got back to the command post.
A large RCMP truck is in the area. Mr. Martel says RCMP scoured Lansdowne Lake from above by helicopter and also went into the lake but found nothing.
So there's another picture. This is what you're talking about, right? This thing, Harley, I think you're... yeah, we can zoom in on that. Here, I'll do it right now since I thought I had it pulled up. I lied. There's still more, but let me pull this up because I promised I would. Let me start from this side. So you can see it there. Oh, here it is. Yeah, it does kind of look like something, like a hole or something. I don't know if anybody knows like what that might have been used for. I mean, it looks like it's... I mean, what it could be is maybe like they changed the oil and they used that to like, I don't know, get under the car. I don't know. It looks different from this view. Again, looks could be deceiving, and maybe it's just a little bit darker here, but it does look like it is kind of like a covered hole. I'm sure people in chat probably have got the answer. Table? Oh, it's the shadow from the table. Is that what it is? Oh my god, it is. Oh my goodness. Yep, okay, I see it now. Yeah, it's a table. Yeah, from the other view, it makes it look like there's a pit. Okay, yeah, you're right. Yeah, it's a table. It's just the shadow. Oh my gosh. Yeah, that the wood was kind of throwing me off. I'm like, that's so weird. When you look at it from this angle, it looks like it is like some kind of pit. Yeah. All right. The answer's that. All right, we got that solved. Yeah. So with the wireless router, this will clearly, especially with what Daniel said, 'cause apparently he was, there and then he left, like especially on that one of the interviews, which I think I do play here in just a minute. He talks about how he was like there and then he'd be gone. Like the first day he was kind of like mostly gone, but he'd come back. So it'd be interesting. And then of course just that morning, and obviously the days prior to that as well. If especially if they're like, if they get beyond the router's service, do they actually have Wi-Fi, or are they in the area that's kind of a dead zone? I don't know, but either way, this will be big because then they can see like, okay, were they there when they said they were, or is there discrepancies? Yes, Free Spirit. I have that at the end. Yeah, because you can kind of look at it both ways. Like, yes, apparently someone in the family and a teacher said that the kids were a little less verbal or nonverbal. Well, nonverbal sounds like they don't talk. Less verbal. And then the mother, that's one of the reasons why the mother was like saying, well, no, they... they're quite talkative. They'll talk your ear up. And then you could look at it, well, is she saying that to kind of suggest that they could easily go out to the street and first stranger they see that, they don't have any issues talking with strangers and they were picked up. So yeah, you could look at it different ways. Oh, no way. In the entire Canada or like Nova Scotia? There's got to be more than that. I don't know. I could be wrong. Canada, 14 dogs in the whole of Canada? I don't know. We could look that up. I don't think that sounds that sounds a bit off. I don't know. I could be wrong, though. There's only one cadaver dog in. No way. Is it really that low? I mean, everywhere you could have missing people. So, and either foul play or not, if somebody goes wandering off and they succumb to the elements, I mean, you would need cadaver dogs. No, I would believe that they're low on cadaver dog, or like lower than average. That would not surprise me. Because yeah, I think the community is really small out there. Again, that just goes to show you with the whole, the amount of cell service out there. I know it's gotten better because I wanted to bring that into my live, but I just didn't get enough research in. But looking at 3G versus 4G, I mean, it looked like half of Nova Scotia was missing.
Two missing children in rural Pictou County is now into its 5th day, and there's still no sign of 6-year-old Lily Sullivan and 4-year-old Jack Sullivan. The siblings went missing last Friday morning when it's believed they strayed from their home in Lansdowne Station. CBC's Preston Mulligan joins us now live from the search area with the latest on the efforts. Preston.
Wow.
Good evening, Tom. Well, as you said, yes, as we near the end of day 5 in the search for these 2 young children, sadly, there is still no good news report. The RCMP held a news conference a couple hours ago to give us an update. Basically, there's not much else to say other than the search for Lily and her brother Jack continues here and around these woods, in these deep woods in the Lansdowne area, just about 20 kilometers south of New Glasgow. Now, during that news conference, they did talk a bit about the resources they have in the air that are looking for these children. They talked about how the drones work. They have drones in the sky at night and at daytime. They have infrared sensors that are able to detect heat on the ground. But regardless of the number of drones, the search and rescue officials and the dogs that are combing through the woods, not to mention the helicopters that we hear constantly flying overhead, still no sign of the children. Hundreds of search and rescue personnel from all over the province are still here. Many of them have been combing through the woods here for about 5 days, taking time off from their jobs, their personal...
Cadaver dogs are used to smell death. And then there's many different kind of scent dogs. You have trackers, scent dogs, obviously, and then so many variations of scent dogs. This is the other thing I want to play, and then we'll get into the latest rumors and stuff.
Walked me through into that wooded area directly adjacent to where they live, maybe 20-second walk from the home into the woods. And as you walk into the woods, there's a little, kind of a tree fort, a little lean-to, and that's where the kids would play. And the family around there say they find it very hard to believe that, given how thick the brush is on some of the steep banks around that area, and just the difficulty moving around if you sort of leave that trail, how difficult they find it to believe that they could have gone anywhere deeper than that.
Yeah, that's what I don't understand is if they did wander off, why wouldn't go to this little spot? I mean, it's right near the home. It kind of goes in, it's tough to say, but it looks like it's somewhere just kind of in this pocket here, because you can kind of see the reporter follow them in. But what's interesting is they kind of, they did search the immediate area, but they kind of started going west, which is interesting. Does make me wonder, was the stepfather influencing any of that? It's a year and a half. I was born December, because I know some reports were saying 16 months and 18 months. And the funny thing is I think it was 17 months right in the middle. But yeah, a year and a half, daughter that Daniel and Malaya have together, while Lily and Jack are with Malaya and some jerk named Cody Sullivan, I believe. And he's bad news, which we'll get to. The biological father, who has clearly not been in their life, is clearly, he was allegedly arrested for, well, not allegedly, he was arrested for selling stuff. You know what I mean? And then there was a knife pulled out. And anyway, so he's got a rap sheet. Apparently, allegedly, they say he's tried to change his name so he doesn't have to pay child support. That's the father of Lily and Jack. I don't know if he's in custody at the time they went missing. I don't know if anybody knows in chat. But from just a little bit I've read, he is definitely bad news. That's for sure. The bio dad said that as well. Yeah, and then a teacher also include, if that's true. I haven't seen where the bio dad said that, but I know. Yeah, I think you're right, Nadia, about the sister. I haven't seen the bio dad. But a teacher also said that the kids were nonverbal. So if the father is true, then that's 3 different sources saying that. If you've heard different things, yeah, I couldn't tell either. All right, so some of the rumors. So one thing that did happen, another thing that just is so weird, seems just really petty and just, I don't know, weird when you're just a week into, your 2 babies missing. So apparently, since this happened, she did one interview, Malaya, and then of course she left on day 2. Somewhere in a briefing with search and rescue. She got an ambulance, and then left from there with the family. Then she had blocked him on social media, blocking the stepfather, Daniel. And then apparently, I don't know which day it was, but over the weekend maybe, because this didn't happen when I covered it, is the mother activated her Facebook page to switch her relationship status to single before deactivating it again. So that is really odd. That is really weird. Let me know what you guys think. I think I kind of find it hard one or the other was involved. I would think it was likely that more if they were involved, they were both involved in some way or another. But man, this is such weird behavior when you've got bigger things to worry about than your relationship status. Yeah, petty. Yeah.
Wrote that they just got back from...
Okay, so this is another one making headlines, or I wouldn't say headlines, but the TikTok headlines. And I do know this TikToker. I don't know if he's still on YouTube. I think he got banned, or maybe he had a temporary ban. I know he had, at the very least, a temporary ban. Joseph Morris. Anyway, this is his TikTok video. Because I remember even people mentioning this when I was live on Friday, making a big scene about, some people making a big scene about this.
Out at the kids' trailer, and they saw 3 blacked out vehicles in the yard, assuming police vehicles, and Daniel, the stepfather, was standing outside the trailer with about 5 or 6 men. They had the front left side of the trailer skirt, a part of it lifted up, and a light going, and a man, assuming an officer, crawling underneath the trailer. Another witness said that they were not only checking under the trailer, but in the windows and the yard. The full video of the drive-by of the investigators at the Sullivan house has been released. It appears to show multiple vehicles in the laneway. One commenter alleges that the all-black vehicles are I-hit vehicles, which are the Homicide Investigative Unit team. Users allege that this team lifted up the trailer to inspect underneath it with flashlights and a police officer crawling under, as the stepfather Daniel stood by. People also think they see the entire porch, which appeared to be new, removed. This video...
See, and that's the part that I looked into, and I'm going to be honest with you, because they said they removed the porch, but I can still see the porch.
It could mean nothing, or it could mean everything.
Now, I still think part of this still could be true, that they were searching around the home. But there's reports that they tore up this this patio here. I guess it's kind of separate from, or attached in some way. I don't know, but you can clearly see that there's things still lifted as they are, and I'll show examples. So some of this is, I don't know.
house. Killer missing.
Now, again, I don't know if he was just temporarily banned, but you know, I hate talking bad about other channels. But yeah, he liked to do clickbaity stuff, and he would make stuff up. If you ever remember the Gabby Petito case and all of a sudden the pregnant pictures, well, if you're wondering who that came from, that was yours truly, Morris. And then he made up a video in the Idaho 4 case, and I think this is the one that got him at least temporary banned, because I didn't see him on YouTube for a long time since then. Anyway, he made up a video claiming it was real, and it was audio allegedly that was recorded when they were getting brutally attacked, and it was clearly faked. People found the original source. Yeah, not good.
Really sad, tragic.
Yeah. Yeah, like crazy.
See the guys here? Yeah.
So this is a guy, I'm assuming a local. He just got done searching, and he's actually just walking back to his car. And I think this was like May 9th or 10th. And anyway, he notices the father's out there, just kind of sitting.
Is that dead? That's like... Look at me. Best luck!
So he says, best of luck. Again, this guy's just, more or less trying to help, comes and he just kind of searches, a big circle. He did a pretty big search just on his own. He had a big rifle with him too, so I can only imagine what the stepfather's wondering watching this guy walk down the road. I don't know, maybe that's normal for out there, but anyway, the reason why I was trying to play this is I was trying to see because like what vehicles were there and if this porch was like torn up. But I don't know, it looked the same to me. I could be wrong. Oh yeah, that was him. Yeah, he got in big trouble for that one. Yeah, so again, I tried to zoom in on the right to see if they're like actually, because I remember even people on my Friday show saying that they're lifting up the trailer, but I don't know. I can still see the cinder blocks. I can still see that because obviously everything's lifted off the ground, obviously in case of flooding. Doesn't look like it's torn up. I think there'd be wood everywhere, like a big giant pile of wood. So not to say there couldn't be, authorities out there searching. So maybe it's a 50-50 where it's kind of some things are being exaggerated to maybe get clicks and views, while others, that they were out there. He was also saying that they were searching the windows, which to me, I'm like, if the father's there and he's not allowing them to search inside the house, that would be a huge red flag. And I'm assuming they've already gone through the home by now. But then again, I don't know. Things could be done differently in Canada. Lack of emotion, mom's interview. Yeah, it would have been nice to have a few more interviews from the mother, really to kind of get an idea. And then it's just tough because the father, or stepfather, where he is out there doing the interviews, and apparently the mother's family's told not to do any more interviews. Now technically they can still do interviews. They're just they can be suggested, hey, you don't have to do interviews, but it's not required by law, of course. But then you have the stepfather doing interviews, and then the whole polygraph. They're flying someone out. Actually, I got that video here. I don't recognize these vehicles. I do recognize the ones in these other ones are just the same cars that the family have had in the driveway. But, you know, they're saying that there's like certain vehicles that are, you know, some kind of special law enforcement. I forget the terminology he used in it. Thanks, Justice. I'll take a look on. Let's see. Let me play this last bit. We'll look and see if there's anything new. As a matter of fact, while I'm letting that play, let me. Before I finish. And thank you to everybody. Nearly 2,000 people in here. I really appreciate it.
You said they're flying in someone to do a polygraph test. Is that on you?
That's not just on me, but on everyone. That's what I asked for. I asked for that so early on, and there's not many places that do it in Canada, so they're flying somebody in.
Why do you think you need to do that? Do you think they don't believe you?
I think their side of the family doesn't believe me, and I just want to clear it up for everyone. Clear it up for everyone, not just the people online making crazy accusations and.
Yeah, I'm just checking different Facebook groups and stuff just to see if there's anything, and not seeing anything. No. I do find it interesting how quiet it is. Clearly, I think this is now turned into some portion of a criminal investigation. But yeah, let me know your thoughts in the chat. Anything that I can answer. Again, I've been involved in searches. Again, I'm not a professional, but I have a little bit of experience in search and rescue and working with some groups like Texas EquiSearch and flying drones. But again, one of the red flags is with two, it's one thing when you're looking for one, but with two kids missing, and the fact that none of them left any kind of clues behind, if they had what the parents or what the stepfather was claiming. I just can't imagine them. And I would think as they got into night, they would likely get separated, because it's just so thick. And maybe one gets tired before the other, and the other one just kind of wants to, go check or something. I think it'd be so easy for those two to get split up. And then if they're split up, that just means even more of a chance that, a volunteer is going to find some kind of track, or them, and just nothing. I don't know. Yeah, no trail. Yeah, and then just going back to the scent dogs, no scent, no tracks. That is not good. And then the way that I have to look at this a little bit more, see if there's any more quotes. But it seems like there is a little bit of a difference between the way they describe how she left, because originally there was a fight with the families, and they kick people off the property. But according to this Globe report, she left on the 3rd, the second day, just after they were doing a briefing. So it kind of changes from what he said. They were homicide vehicles. So that's what it says in the video. But again, I need to trust somebody other than the person talking in the video, because again, I know that person doesn't have the best track record. So that does, my guard is up when I see that person's videos, because I know they're past. And yeah. Mystical Butterfly, thanks Chris for the updates. Oh, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. God bless you. Fisher says, in my opinion, he spoke of the pull-up being wet because he knows he slept in it, and nobody had got up to care for the children that morning. No fresh clothes or breakfast. Oh, yeah. I mean, he does speak. We'll play that one more time. That is such a red flag.
Every evening, conducting his own search.
As soon as I seen they were missing, I jumped right in the vehicle, and I did every dirt road and searched every culvert.
The children are thought to have wandered away from their home in Lansdowne Station on...
The first day I wasn't around very much because I was just searching. I was running through the woods.
It's true.
Screaming their name till my throat hurt.
Martel says the only concrete clue so far is a boot print found near the backyard of the property.
Right here.
They took their boots. That's pink boots for Lily, blue boots for Jack with dinosaurs on them. Lily had her backpack with white, and it was white with strawberries on it. I imagine now if they're in the woods that it'd be probably brown, but I don't see them carrying their backpack. I don't see them keeping a pull-up one for that.
So yeah, he kind of contradicts himself. She has her backpack, but I doubt she's, still has her backpack. So that is really weird. I'm sorry, I should have let this play through.
Backpack. I don't see him keeping a pull-up one for that long.
Concrete clue so far
One last
is a
time.
boot print found near the backyard of the property.
I know they took their boots. That's pink boots for Lily, blue boots for Jack with dinosaurs on them. Lily had her backpack with white, and it was white with strawberries on it. I imagine now if they're in the woods that it'd be probably brown, but I don't see them carrying their backpack. I don't see them keeping a pull-up one for that long after it got soaked from the very first day.
After it got soaked from the very first day. I mean, it's weird. It is weird. Yeah, I tried to look into the extended family. I might have to get that the people search and see what I could dig up. I just want to be careful because, there could be, I don't want to be showing or bringing anybody into the limelight that, doesn't have anything to do with the case. And
we only found the 2 boot tracks outside of the house.
Whereabouts?
Right beside the house.
But it does clearly. There's other people there. Clearly, the brother, his mother. It is weird. How come we haven't heard from them? Like, what are they doing? That is a little sus. And what did they see? What were they doing? If you have at least 4 adults, right, living there. Not one of them saw the children. Yeah, it wasn't me, Brown. I mean, I'm assuming mud, but I mean, again, yeah. Answers teeth, yeah. It could be. I mean, it does appear that. Oh, that's a good question, Michelle Arella. It's a great name. Yeah, what were they wearing the last... That is a great question. With bus driver, right. That is a very good question. Yeah, I agree. Sorry, my phone's blowing up here. Okay. Alright, I'm gonna finish there. I wish a YouTuber would go out there. See, that's the other thing is, I was wondering, I'm like, God, with such a big case that everybody's invested in, we don't see, like here in the U.S., with a big case, people be out there, doing live feeds or whatever. And I think one of the issues is, I think this kind of backs up this claim that, this area out here, maybe not all of it, but certain areas don't have service. So, again, so they wouldn't be able to do a live feed and go, hey, we're here. But, and again, I mean, if you know where they're at, I mean, they're, one second. I mean, just look at where they're at. I mean, Nova Scotia, it's a different part of Canada, much isolated, almost on their own little island, peninsula there. So definitely much smaller area, and again, isolated. Oh, thank you, Fly Girl. Oh, thank you, guys. I appreciate that. But I think we'll leave it there. Again, no major updates. Holly, thank you for the membership. Sergio, I feel better chatting, being a member. I'm French, so sorry if I misspelled some words. No worries, Sergio. I'm sorry I missed your comment earlier. Hobo's Life. Thank you, Chris, for everything you do. Thank you so much. Maria misses the South. Thank you so much for the $3.99. And yes, Michelle, thank you so much. Maybe Wednesday, unless there's an update with this case. But I will definitely keep an eye on that case. Rob, thank you so much for the support. Black Witter, God bless you. Member for 20 months. That's awesome. Nearly 2 years. God bless you. And I think I got yours, Mystical, and Black Girl. Chris, what can I say more? But you are amazing. Much love to you. Thank you guys for the love and support. If you can, please hit that like button. I'm in Newfoundland, next door to Nova Scotia, across the water. We had snow last night, about 5 centimeters. So we are getting very cold weather. Gosh. Yeah, that's so. Right now, we're here in Utah. It's the opposite. We're, the 911 call. Oh, looks like Wuhall. Wuhall. Joseph Morris is back with the beard. No, that's fine, Jocelyn. No, yeah. It is. It is. I don't want to say it's a clickbait channel because maybe he's cleaned up a little bit. I don't know. But yeah, he has his reputation that I knew at the when I started true crime was not the best, unfortunately. Oh, that's interesting, Don. Oh, you live in Nova Scotia. Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure a lot of things are different here, there than here in the U.S. So, hopefully, when they get out there, hopefully, I mean, I hope that's not what happened to them. I really do hope that, maybe they're still out there. I mean, we played it on Friday. There was a 6-year-old girl went missing. I think it was Nova Scotia or somewhere nearby, but she was missing 3.5 days. It was cold. She came back, or she was found. So there's always hope. Arizona, there was another case, much longer. A child was missing, came back. Actually, I think a dog brought the child back, but I think they were missing like a week or two, maybe a week. But so there's always a silver lining. There could be a chance they're out there, but I don't know. I think everything that we know so far, I think, leads more towards something suspicious. I just can't see the family turn on each other so quickly. And these little petty things with changing your Facebook to single, and I don't know. Yeah. All right. Thank you to my wonderful mods. God bless you, Copper Horse D, Jennifer, Sensei, Jocelyn. I always forget somebody's name. That just means you're the special one. But thank you to everybody. And we'll be back Wednesday. And something else I was going to say, but I can't think of it. But much love. And again, I hope all the mothers had a wonderful weekend. And we will see you guys Wednesday. And I'll have some short form content. And of course, we'll also be keeping an eye on Sebastian Rogers' case as well. So, thank you so much. All right, guys, I'm going to do a pet outro, and we will work on another one for the members when we can. But there we are. All right, guys, much love. We'll see you guys Wednesday.
Hold your breath and feel the tension. Devils hide behind redemption. Honesty is a one-way gate to hell. I wanna taste consumption. Breathe faster to waste oxygen. Hear the children sing aloud. It's music till the wick burns out. Be carefree lately, yeah. Just picking up daisies. Got one too many quarters in my pockets. Count 'em like the 4-leaf clovers in my locket. Untied laces, yeah. Just tripping on day dreams. Got dirty lyrics.